All right, Nick, let's talk about the Kansas City Chiefs. I think everyone has heard the stories going around about the Raiders and the Chiefs, but head coach Andy Reid had an interesting comment to kind of fire back at that narrative. I'm Andrew, and this is Saturday Morning Inspection. All right, Nick, as I alluded to, we all heard the Raiders, Kermit the Frog story that was floating around the internet here, and I think that's all well and good. I'm sure that fired them up, but I think what Coach Andy Reid said in response to this story really is the king of the crop here. This was the way to answer back to something like this. I think it's going to help motivate the team going forward. Let's get into the article. When we talk about this more on the other side, this is over on Athlon Sports, and it says the Las Vegas Raiders went viral on Thursday after a video surfaced showing one of the players holding a Kermit the Frog puppet dressed as Patrick Mahomes. Many believe Vegas just gave Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs bulletin board material ahead of 2024 season. Now, Kansas City coach Andy Reid has reacted to the clip during an interview with Jonathan Jones of CBS Sports. Reid was asked about the Mahomes puppet troll job the Raiders conducted the previous day. The Chiefs coach had a very brief response for Vegas. We don't spend a lot of time with here with puppets, which I think was an apt response. This is a perfect response from Reid. The Chiefs are a championship franchise and they don't have time to play around. Not to mention the team has essentially owned the Raiders over the last 8 years. Mahomes holds a 10-2 record over Las Vegas while winning 8 straight AFC West titles. As far as that goes, Nick, I think that last part is enough said. I don't think Mahomes really cares too much about the puppet, and I don't think the Chiefs care too much about that as well. I think that they have enough material to go forth and conquer. I'm curious what you think about all this, but Chiefs fans, in the comment section below, does this change anything? Does this make you look forward more to the Raiders this year? Or is there another matchup on the top of your mind? What matchup are you looking forward to the most this year for the Kansas City Chiefs? Let us know in the comment section below. And while you're down there, check out our recommended reading. We've got a great book to tide you over until the NFL season starts. This is Playmakers by Mike Florio. Nick's got a copy here. There's some great parts about Patrick Mahomes in there as well. The good book, so check it out. Our affiliate link is in the description below. It costs you nothing, but if you use it, if you want to get the book, it really helps us out. But Nick, what are your thoughts on these responses to the comments by the Raiders?
So first of all, there's been some more news that has come out recently about how the Raiders, after they got basically Andy Reid, and only Andy Reid could do basically say something like this, so blunt and direct. You got the Raiders have come out saying they had to call a separate team meeting to address this and kind of put it to bed and all that, according to Raiders coach Antonio Pierce. And let me tell you something: we're not anti-Raiders on this channel. We do a lot of Raiders content, but I think this is an example of what happens when you're living rent-free in someone's head, right? The Raiders beat the Chiefs one time in kind of a fluke defensive game with two defensive touchdowns at the end of last season. Outside of that, it's been a lot of Chiefs domination. And frankly, across the entire National Football League, it's been a lot of Chiefs domination. When you're at training camp, everyone who's been to camp, right? I played college football. Anyone out there who's played college professional, if anyone is listening that's played professional, everyone understands you are focused solely on yourself for the entire duration of training camp, right? The coaching staff, the players, the organizational leadership, no one is even talking about individual matchups or game planning or things like that until maybe the very last week. And that's if you play like a funky team week one or something like that, like a Baltimore Ravens with Lamar Jackson. You got to have a defense ready for something like that. Otherwise, you're only focused on yourself because you're using this time to install your offense, install your defense. And the Chiefs live so rent free in their competition's head is that teams like the Raiders make it about just doing a fun thing with Kansas, a stupid thing, a funny, stupid thing with Patrick Mahomes and the Frog. Like they're not focused on themselves. Like, and this is just exactly how teams. This is what I call the Tiger Woods effect. When people remember when Tiger Woods was absolutely dominating the world of golf, how other golfers were just trying to, they were so worried and so focused on what was Tiger doing that last hole. Did he make a birdie? Oh my goodness, the crowd's going wild. And it completely threw them off because they weren't focused on themselves. This is why the Chiefs are so good. It's because everyone is so focused on them, right? Instead of the competition, you would think they'd be trying to get better so they could maybe beat the Chiefs. No one's been able to really do it when it matters the last 2 years, obviously. You think they'd be more focused on themselves, especially a team like the Raiders, who has really struggled over the past couple of years. But instead, the Chiefs continue to find a way to live rent free in their heads. And again, I think Andy Reid's statement is just a powerful message. It reminds me a lot of the Tom Brady statement in the middle of the Patriots dynasty when asked about the Pro Bowl. Brady famously said at that time, there's only one bowl we care about here. That's a very similar message we're seeing from Andy Reid and the Chiefs. It's like, listen, we don't care about puppets. We don't care about that crap. We care about winning. That's what we do. We win championships here, and that's what we're going to do. That powerful message is going to resonate. And trust me, this really matters. People will care about this in the Chiefs locker room, not the context that it will focus them just only on the Raiders, or they won't focus on getting better at training camp, but it will allow them to kind of steady themselves, say, okay, we know we're still in control. Everyone's worried about us. If we continue to focus and just do our thing, we'll beat everybody in the National Football League. This is, believe it or not, outstanding news for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah, Nick, and I think you bring up a great point, whether you meant to or not, in the fact that, I think the Chiefs are more worried about facing the Ravens week 1 than they are about anything that the Raiders are bringing up. Don't face the Raiders till week 8, but they're fully, solely focused on getting right, getting everybody ready, getting all of their offense and defense installed. The fact that someone brings out a puppet that looks like Patrick Mahomes is like, it's childish, It's not like no one cares about that. The Chiefs are bigger than that, and I think head coach Andy Reid does a great job. Like you said, only he can come out and really say something like this and kind of put it to bed so quickly, like that. Hey, we don't care about that kind of stuff. It's really not something that's in our zeitgeist. We don't let those kind of things into our locker room. And I'm sure, I think the Patrick Mahomes Kermit the Frog joke, I think that came out the first year he came into the NFL. So I think we're a little bit behind the times on that one. But I think this is a great reaction by the Chiefs. And I think this shows they are ready to try to go and hit that three-peat of the Super Bowl.
And just one final point to hit on here. I love the fact that the reaction was so blunt and direct by Andy Reid and by pretty much anyone who was asked about it on the Chiefs. It wasn't like they were, well, it's the they didn't fall into the trap. They were just like, they're asked a question about this and like, yeah, we're trying to win championships. We don't care, right? We don't really talk about puppets here, right? Just again, that speaks to the singular focus that the Chiefs under Andy Reid have right now, and it's why they're the favorites to win yet again. And I think specifically the response from the Chiefs here is an incredibly powerful message to the rest of the NFL and especially the Raiders, is that you're not going to knock them off their game. They understand that they're living rent-free in your head, and they're just going to keep being focused on being themselves. And if the Chiefs can do that, they're going to be really tough to beat, and they're going to be the favorites all season long and all through the postseason yet again to finish the three-peat.